This anime belongs to the action, fantasy and science fiction genre and it was released in 2016. The anime begins with a weird man from Helistia going on a rampage and hijacking a moving train. The man begins to talk about the legend of the Divine Gate which can be seen by adapters. He also talks about how the three worlds merged resulting in 6 different abilities. Aoto is on the train and he manipulates water into a sharp blade, cutting down the hijacker. Akane and Midori arrive, getting Nontron to activate a zone so they can rescue the injured man. After completing their job and going back to the academy, Akane and Midori race with Midori coming in first. She got a head start though. In the academy, Metabon reveals to both of them that Aoto only injured the fire user from Helistia so as to save the other passengers in the train. The man from Helistia was the cause of the fuss. In the next scene, we see a meeting between members of the Knights of Round. There is an intense feel to this guys and while they look cool, it's too early to say if they are the good guys or the bad guys. In this meeting, we learn that there is no physical difference between people of Terestia, Celestia and Helistia. Arthur presides over this meeting. Akane and Midori are given the task to convince Aoto to join the academy but all their attempts fail. They later on hear rumors that Aoto killed his parents. Aoto and Arthur have a meeting where the former rejects the driver that was specifically made for him. Midori is obsessed with the Divine Gate. In a later conversation, Aoto admits to seeing the gate. Aoto also remembers his past where his younger brother was treated better than him. The episode comes to an end with Arthur having a dream about the Divine Gate. Akane's father means a lot to him, so he struggles to come to terms with Aoto killing his parents. We are soon introduced to a suspicious character known as Loki, as he interacts with Arthur. Akane and Midori meet with Aoto, but both boys get into an argument again, so Akane then walks away and begins to talk to Metabon about his father. In this scene, we learn that Akane has lost his dad and he does not trust the World Council. He believes that the World Council is lying about how his dad died. Things are about to get serious when a patrol driver malfunctions on a street where a young boy was begging Akane and Aoto for food. The patrol driver starts to destroy everywhere and it is up to them to save the day. Aoto finally accepts the driver, using it to extinguish the flames while Akane and Midori team up to defeat the malfunctioning driver. They end up saving the boy who was trapped, but he refuses to go back to his father who he feels didn't come to save him. They encourage him to go back to his dad. This scene was kind of weird because the father clearly had disabilities in his leg. Aoto finally joins the academy and Arthur talks about finding the key to the Divine Gate. Arthur talks to Loki and Oz about the key to the Divine Gate and also gives them an invite for when he finally gets to the gate. The next scene involves training. Akane and the others are spectators while a fired-up Midori fights against Jinji. We go into a scene from the past and we see that right from time, Midori has been enthusiastic about going to the Divine Gate. Soon they are all eating joyously as they host a welcome party for Aoto. Midori loses a bet and she has to stay back and clean the whole place. Akane chooses to stay with his friend and help her clean even though he teases her about it. The next scene is a flashback of Midori and her friend Elena talking about the Divine Gate. In the present time she texts Elena and the latter seems to still be interested with the Divine Gate. What we know about the Divine Gate so far is that it will grant you any wish you have. In the Knights of Round meeting, Arthur says that the time has come. They all support him except Lance who walks away. Midori and Akane snoop around and try to get some information on Aoto, but when they search his name, the file is restricted. Apart from killing his parents, what else has this boy done? Arthur and other members of the Knights of Round are discussing a new autonomous driver being built. Akane and Midori tell Aoto that they tried to access his file, but it was restricted. Midori advises him to use a friend app to say things he might be uncomfortable to say in person, but Aoto declines. In the next scene, Midori and Akane find another way to check for Aoto's profile and something named Blue Christmas catches their attention. Blue Christmas is an incident that happened on Christmas Day 2 years ago when 2 armed criminals slaughtered 666 people before setting the mall on fire. This anime is getting intense, and I'm loving how mysterious Aoto seems at this point. Brunner, a member of the Knights of Round, catches them snooping around and begins to question them. Later he decides to tell them about how he lost his father in the Blue Christmas incident and how he knows Aoto is the killer, but he has no evidence. Midori refuses to accept that Aoto is the killer, but she says she will investigate with him. They find out where Aoto is, and crash his meeting with the other Blue Christmas criminal, and a fight breaks out. During the battle, the criminal realizes that this Aoto was not his partner at the crime scene and it was someone else that looked like him. The criminal escapes the scene, and Aoto refuses to tell Midori, Akane, and Brunner who the other Aoto is. Midori, Akane, and Aoto head to an abandoned district to train. We learn that an abandoned district is a place not under the control of the World Council. Akane and Jinji get into a fight, but they are separated by Hikari. It is revealed that Hikari and Yukari also came here for training. Bedivere, a member of the Knights of Round, welcomes them for the training, but she is wearing a horse face mask and it is quite weird. This was a good way to show that Bedivere is an airhead but also a poor attempt at comedy. Midori, Akane, and Aoto get to the checkpoint where they meet Brunner and Palamedes, members of the Knights of Round. As the training goes on, Akane meets a young girl in the woods. After the training, the adapter begin to ask questions on why they had the training, but there are no answers to their questions. When the 6 adapters are walking through the woods in the night, they are attacked by 3 humans that transform into beasts. It is revealed that these are seconds, people who seek more power by crossing the boundary of species. The 6 adapters decide to run away rather than fight, but later on, Akane sees the strange girl he saw in the woods before and she transforms into a beast and attacks him. She tells him that they are the Defiers. They defy the World Council and live in hiding. When she tries to kill Akane, members of the Knights of Round arrive and kill all the Defiers. The next episode begins with a young and abandoned Arthur as he strays into Celestia and then meets someone that calls himself Santa Claus. Now in the present, there is a meeting between the World Council and Arthur, and we learn that when the Divine Gate was previously opened, it merged the 3 worlds and led to chaos. Arthur says that was because of people's selfish desires and he will do differently. Later we see a discussion between Loki and Oz, where it is clear that Loki doesn't trust Arthur and will try to betray him. Loki has brought his mischiefs into this anime too. Arthur tells all the members of Knights of Round that they are leaving to the Divine Gate now and he will restore the world to its correct state and be the king. Arthur also invites Midori, Akane, and Aoto on the journey to the Divine Gate and they accept. We soon see a flashback of Loki and a young Arthur, where Arthur states that he wants to be a king to bring peace to the world. With the members of the Knights of Round and the other adapters gathered, Arthur introduces them to Loki and Oz before they begin the journey, unknown to him that the 2 plan to betray him. The episode comes to an end with Arthur telling Aoto that he knows he has been covering up for his younger brother all this while. Arthur reiterates his determination to go to the Divine Gate in his discussion with Loki, and there seems to be some hostility between the 2. Arthur reveals to everyone that his plan to correct the state of the world involves destroying the Divine Gate. As they begin the journey, they go through several gates until they are attacked by some autonomous drives that were summoned by Loki. Yeah, I always knew this Loki could not be trusted. Everyone gets past this challenge safely and they get into another room where they are attacked by Norse gods. The gods were summoned by Oz. The Knights of Round cannot stand the gods and they all seem to die. Only Arthur, Midori, Akane and Aoto survived the attack of the Norse gods. Arthur tells them that they have to complete the journey to give meaning to the sacrifices of their comrades and they begin to move forward. They arrive at the Divine Gate and the gate opens. However, before they can get in, a new model autonomous driver attacks, dragging Arthur into the open space while the gate closes against the other trio. Arthur fights the autonomous driver till he is totally exhausted, then Loki appears. He gives Arthur the option of becoming his puppet or dying. Outside the gate, Lancelot has met up with the trio and as the gate opens, he goes to meet Arthur but he is stabbed by Arthur and it is revealed that Arthur is now under Loki's control. We later learn that Arthur still has some consciousness that wasn't taken over by Loki. The World Council are annoyed with Oz for summoning the Norse gods, but Loki enters into the meeting saying that Arthur and the Knights of Round are all dead. Akane, Midori and Aoto are now in hiding, with the council searching for them. They are visited by Undine and some others, who take care of them. Soon it is revealed that it was Santa Claus who saved them in the previous battle, but Jinji doesn't still trust him. In the next scene, we see that Akane's father is not dead, rather he is working under Loki. Shakespeare also makes an appearance as Loki's playwright. Santa Claus reveals that Loki has a group of researchers which he uses to control the World Council. Santa wants them to go back to the Divine Gate. Our main trio agree, but the others refuse. Loki manipulates Jinji and the others into giving up the location of our main trio. When a zone is generated in where they are, Santa Claus stays back to ensure that Midori, Akane and Aoto are able to escape successfully through a tunnel. Shakespeare begins her writing and as the main trio run through a tunnel, a light appears and they disappear into the light. It turns out the light at the end of this tunnel isn't a good one. Midori, Akane and Aoto finally find themselves in a green world, where they are being chased by autonomous drivers. As soon as they realize that Loki is behind their predicament, they fall into a very dark hole and are transported onto a stage to act a play. Loki tells Shakespeare that the cast is complete and she should give them a good dream with her writing. What follows is a sad story where Akane is a girl who is maltreated by her family, Aoto is bedridden with sickness as he waits for his death, and Midori failed an assassination attempt and is now locked up in prison. I must say that this Shakespeare has got crazy imagination. As the story goes on, she makes several changes to the story and soon Akane's father appears before him in the story. He is pissed at his dad for faking his death, but he has no choice as they try to escape together. Midori is out of prison now and she runs to her town to find her best friend Elena. Aoto is reunited with his brother and our main trio are able to spend time with people that they had previously lost. However, they soon realize that something is wrong with these versions of their companions and the dream world is broken as the fake characters disappear. Loki tells Shakespeare that he has no use for her and her fake characters now as the real characters will be making their move soon. The conscious part of Arthur that has not been taken over by Loki tells Loki not to get too confident as he will still have to deal with Santa. Then we realize that our main trio are now in different sections of the road to the Divine Gate. Akane is attacked by some autonomous drivers, but someone arrives and destroys the machines and it turns out to be his dad. Midori comes face to face with her best friend while Undine and the others arrive at the Divine Gate. Midori and Akane are pissed at the persons that have arrived before them, thinking they are still the fake versions like the ones that were in their dream world. However, these versions try their best to prove to Akane and Midori that they are the real deal. Akane's dad tells him not to destroy the Divine Gate because it helps to create order in the world and that research of the Divine Gate is what has led to developments like drivers and zones. The council holds a meeting where it is revealed that they no longer trust Oz or Loki. They send Jinji to go to the Divine Gate and act on their behalf. Two Norse gods appear, one fighting Akane and his dad while the other fights Midori and her friend. Akane and Midori lose the people close to them in this duel, but they are able to escape. The fight between Akane's dad and the Norse god is one of the best fights in this series. Aoto finally opens the Divine Gate and as he enters, he is welcomed by his brother. We get a little flashback into the lives of Aoto and his brother and we see that they were abused by their parents. We also learn that since the day Aoto's younger brother killed their parents, Aoto has suppressed himself, living as his brother and taking all the false accusations. We get more flashbacks into their past and see the horrible abuse they were subjected to by their parents, to ensure they develop their powers. Aoto's brother calls him a hypocrite for trying to move all their parents' anger to himself, and forcing him to watch while Aoto got beaten severally, but the elder brother tries to explain that it was just a thing of care for him. Undine and her friends arrive just in time, and a fight breaks out between Aoto and his brother. Aoto's brother reveals that the Blue Christmas incident was a punishment for parents who only share love and joy during festivities like Christmas. As the fight between the brothers rages on, the Norse gods appear at the front of the gate, but they are stopped by Oz, who summoned them at first, and he uses almost all his strength to perform a technique that strips them of their powers. As the brothers clash, Undine gets between both of them to stop them, but she gets injured in the process. Aoto yells at his brother, and a water-based attack blasts his brother, who is finally happy that Aoto has accepted his challenge. He then walks away, stating that their EXT fight will be their last. Akane and Midori arrive, and along with Aoto, they open the Divine Gate and see its true form. The boy that has always appeared to Aoto is here and says that he is the key to the Divine Gate. Santa Claus talks about how Arthur gave him a fresh start and so he is going to bring peace to the world. Standing before the real form of the Divine Gate, our main trio decide that they are going to use their wishes to bring back their loved ones. Santa Claus finds Loki and attacks him. He walks up to Arthur, not Arthur, under Loki's command stabs him. With the sword still in his body, he activates his power as he is close to Arthur, creating a connection between them so as to free Arthur from Loki's control, but in the end, he falls on the floor, not sure if it worked. Seems like this brother just wasted his life. Before our main trio can choose their fates before the Divine Gate, the now weakened Norse gods arrive. They look well beat up. Akane, Midori and Aoto engage them in battle. They gods cannot defeat them as they have lost a lot of their powers. The key spirit then assists the main characters in defeating the gods. With the gods now gone, before they can make their wish, Jinji appears. Jinji tries to convince them not to destroy the gate or make a wish for selfish purposes as it will affect the world negatively. They end up listening to his advice, so it turns out the whole journey has been a waste. Akane, Midori and Aoto go back to confront Loki. Arthur attacks, destroying the whole tower as it collapses. With the tower destroyed, the path to the Divine Gate is now lost. The anime ends as we see that members of the Knights of Round are still alive and they are going after Loki.